Welcome in. Hello, Derp. Hello. Pretty good. How are you? United States. Arkansas. Hello. I'm a retired mechanic. I've had strokes, so I don't have one right now. I'm just doing content creation and accepting donations when I can. Yeah, it's a struggle. Mm, nope. Be just another day for me. I don't get to celebrate. Why? Every time. He randomly fucking opens the door. That's nice. Yeah, I smoke outside, so when I come outside, I usually smoke a cigarette and go live for a little while, talk to chat, play with my dog. His name's Bruno. But even today, he's like, I don't want to do nothing. I just want to sit here. You don't want to play with the ball? Are you gonna bring it to me? Okay, ready? You gotta lay down. You ready? Is that all you wanted? Was one? You see him? You see him? Picks it up, spins around, puts it back down. Picks it up, spins around, puts it back down. I don't know about him sometimes. What are you going to bring here? Down. You going to get? Good boy. You caught it. Bruno. Hey, psst. You see him? You going to give it here? No? Okay. Looks like he doesn't want to play today. Are you going to get one? Get the ball. Get the ball. Down. That's not all the way down. You going to bring the ball here? You see him? Down. Ready? You going to bring here? Well, there's 3 people in here. A while ago, there was like 20 something, but just like most of the lives that I do, people show up and then 30 seconds later, they're gone already. And it's like, they're like, oh, well, he's not talking. Well, I talk when people talk in chat. So if I'm not talking, that's your problem because you're not talking. I don't talk to myself randomly. Well, you gonna get it or what? Are you getting old? You're only 5. Like 35 dog years, but still. I appreciate that. Leastwise, when people come in and see us talking, they think, hey, this person's interesting, and they stick around longer than 30 seconds. Hello, everyone. Welcome to chat. Are you going to get your ball? Hey, would you stop it? Don't worry about that. There's nothing there. You're just looking. Yeah, I'm trying to find something flying around because something's touching me. Nothing's touching you. It's just the heat. You get the ball. Hey, you see the ball? You see him? Look. You see him? What kind of question? I prefer that. That's what I prefer. Get the hell out of here with that shit. I appreciate it. Not many people do. Picks it up once, puts it back down, sets it down. He's like, man, that made me breathe hard for a second. I gotta quit. Are you gonna get the ball? In the house, you want to play nonstop. But when it's cold outside, you don't want to do nothing. It's got to be like 70 degrees for you to want to play. You gonna sit? Watch, he'll put it down. See? Just puts it down. You want to play no more? Get the ball. You see him? He's like, I don't want it. But he'll do that for a motorcycle. You gonna get your ball or what? Yeah. You got to take a break in between. You sit? Oh, shit. He takes breaks after every throw. Sit. Hey, down. Bruno. Down. Good boy. He puts it down. Break time. Are you done? You gonna get your ball? Down. Turns around, drops it. Every time. Come on. Runs to it, makes you think he's going to get it. And he's like, no, don't want to. There it is. Down. Hey, you going to get your ball? No. No, his name's Bruno. After a cartoon from 1934. It's either 34 or 36. Bruno and Bob. Hmm. But if you've seen the actual cartoon, then you would understand why I named him after Bruno. Because they have the same coat, same black patch in their upper back. Well, if I knew how, but it would be in my community because I can't post from my phone because I'm on my phone. I can't even chat in the chat. So, but the funny thing is I take him in the house, then he'll want to play because he's like, it's cool in here, and I can stop and drink water whenever I want because I don't bring water out here because of all the bugs in the summertime. I'd be dumping it out every time I come outside. They're like, he's a highly energetic dog until he gets adulthood. Then he's only energetic in the house. Once he comes outside, feels the heat. After 5 minutes, he don't want to do anything. Huh? You just want pets, don't you? He's like, no, don't throw that. Yeah, he's a short-haired dog, and it's only like maybe 80 something. It's not really hot. I mean, I wear black, all the way down to my socks and my shoes, not making me sweat. I mean, if I got out in the direct sunlight, I'd probably sweat. But if you look, most of the yard is literally shade from the big ass trees. Hi, Chris. Mr. Chris, the Pepsi driver. Can't do inappropriate things on stream. You don't need to do that. Okay? Yeah, I remember you from Soldier streams, hybrid streams, a few other streams back before Soldier was when he was basically copying his background for his stream off of other people's and didn't put his personal touches on it. Now he's got his own personal touches. I think I've been subbed to Soldier's channel since 2010. Don't quote me on that, but it's been a long time. Shout out Ice. I got it now. What are you gonna do? Ready? We go for a long one. I've I've been around when he used to do the whole roho and repeat it. I was around when he first started that because he Rojo was one of the big chat members. I'm in Arkansas, far away from them. Yeah, I mean they have a actual plant, I guess, Pepsi plant here. Because my stepdad used to work there, bring home flats and after flats of soda. We'd throw half of it away because we couldn't drink it fast enough. But I guess they don't do that no more. That's cool. Yeah, I never did. I've been trucking, but I've always been like the passenger. I was too young to drive at the time. I went clear to California, to New York, down to Texas, all the way up to the Canadian border. Drove from Iowa clear to Fresno, California, and back. I figured out real quick after that one. I was like, there's no way I could do this. Sitting in that truck that long makes my feet swell up. They look like I'm wearing balloons for toes. But I did mobile mechanics before anybody even knew what a mobile mechanic was. I had people be like, well, if you're a mechanic, doesn't that make everything you work on mobile? And I said, the concept isn't that the thing I'm working on is mobile, is that I'm mobile, which means I can come to you so you don't have to get your car towed to me and leave it sitting somewhere while you do other things. I fix it. I come to you on my convenience and your convenience and fix it right there in your driveway or right there at your work. So you ain't got to worry about it. You don't have a high price tow bill. And by the way, I charge less than actual shop charges. Why? Because I don't have all that overhead, those four walls. I've been down to Little Rock. It's about 3 hours from me, 3 hours south, about southeast, because it's in the middle of the state. I'm in northwest Arkansas. Literally within half an hour, I can either be in Oklahoma, Kansas, or Missouri. And if I had a dentist, I'd look a lot better than I do. That's why I don't smile. My teeth are all fucked up. I'm waiting for Mr. Beast to come in and bless me with a donation so I can get my teeth. I guess when I do it, everybody sees it as I'm begging, but everybody else can do it and literally be like, "Oh, let me donate. Let me donate." I'm like, "Well, it's on the Cash App. It's on my profile." And they're like, "Okay, I'll donate." Then I don't see nothing. I'm like, "Yeah, okay. Thanks for the thought, though." Sometimes I recognize trolling. Sometimes I don't. Well, and about 12 years ago, well, actually, be about 15 years ago now, I had strokes, systemic strokes. I got put out of commission for about a year, went back to work, and worked all the way up until 2023, and I had strokes again. And now my doctor is telling me because I'm on blood thinners, I can't go back to work because she's like, well, you said yourself you took off something that weighed about the same as a glass dinner plate. I'm like, yeah. And she says, then you had your stroke. She goes, you weren't straining yourself at all and you had your stroke. I was like, yeah. She goes, well, you can't go off blood thinners because if you do, you might have a stroke again. And then you've already had 30. I'm like, what do you mean 30? She goes, they can recognize your strokes by looking into your eyes. They can see where you had strokes. I'm like, okay. She goes, they say that you've had more than 30. I'm like, as far as I know, I had 6 to 10 the first time, and I guess one because I caught it early. She goes, no. She says, if you had 6 to 10, they told you you had 6 to 10. I was like, they said anywhere from 6 to 10. And she was like, well, this last time you've had more than 30. They can't count how many you've had. Brain damage from it. And so I'm like, okay, what do I do? If I can't go to work, how am I supposed to earn a living? How am I supposed to survive? I'm like, well, you can get put on Social Security. Well, nobody bothered to tell me, oh, that they drag their ass when it comes to trying to get Social Security. Because if you go back and look at some of my videos, at first I was doing mechanic work and stuff. I'd pull cars out of barns and stuff like that for people, fix them up, make it a showroom like vehicle, and get paid pennies on the dollar. I was happy with the price that I got, and they were happy with paying me, so they were happy with the outcome. It was like around here, you can get a starter put on a 2008 Silverado, and it'll cost you at a shop probably 300-400 bucks. I same people call me, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it for 150. They're like, okay. And then an hour later, job's done. Their truck's running again. They ain't got to wait the 2 or 3 weeks for a starter to be put on. Because it's like, I've worked at shops. Most shops around here, if you walk into them at any given point, you'll see 5, 6 guys just standing around. And they don't pay those guys. They pay what they call flag hours, which means while you're working, if a job takes 3 hours, it says on the computer, if a job takes 3 hours, you get paid 30 bucks. It's like, why are you paying your mechanics 30 bucks? Did you put them through school? No. What did you do other than put up 4 walls and a hell, half of them don't even have a lift. You got to do it from the ground, so it ain't no different than doing it from your house. But they think that they deserve 90% of it. That's not good. I have no clue what an eye booster is, though. I think I might need them. Look, I got glasses. Used to be what everybody was like, man, that's eagle eye right there. He can see shit that we don't even see. And now, since my strokes, you got glasses. Thanks. I'm sorry to hear that, Chris. But the government here is basically, they're looking at it, they see the word stroke, and they think, oh, well, he's in Arkansas. He probably had a heat stroke. No, heat strokes to systemic strokes is like heartburn to a heart attack. It's way more serious. Most people don't survive. And every doctor's looked at my case has literally said, you've had so many strokes, nobody else in the history of the world's had that many strokes and survived. I'm like, great. Well, at least while you're still functioning. I'm like, well, not as well as you think I am. Physically, I can move around. Can't do cartwheels no more. Used to be able to walk like Forrest Gump. Now, I can walk to the end of the block if I'm lucky, if I take a break in between. Hi, Snooky. Yeah, my insurance, It's through the government, and they're cutting me off at the end of the year, so I have no idea what the hell I'm going to do after that. It's like there's no recovery rate for systemic strokes, but they seem to think because their tablet tells them to. I'm like, yeah, so when I can no longer get my medication because A, I'm not supposed to work, and B, you guys are cutting me off of my medication, what's to say I don't just lay in bed and stroke out? Oh, but you're not responsible for that because you're a corporation and I can't pinpoint one person that took that action. It's a whole corporation. Can't take them all to jail. Later, Chris. Now you want to play because you know the phone's not on you? Crazy dog. There, when they come in, and if I don't see it right away, you can help me get rid of all the trolls. I get at least one troll per stream. Like people randomly, "Hey, are you a top or are you a bottom?" I'm like, there's kids that watch this app. Why are you doing this? It's like there's plenty of streaming platforms out there that hold that type of content. That's what it's for. But you'd rather go and where every kid is pretty much during the summertime anyway, on YouTube, knowing you'll get banned from most of the channels that you go to. Lot again. This is the first time you've ever been in the chat. Didn't work that time. Probably going in after his duck because he's done playing with his ball. He knows where his duck's at. That's what I like about privacy fences. I can see what drives past, but they can't see through my fence to see that I'm sitting here. Well, I know that. No? Okay. He's like, I don't want to come outside. It's too hot. I'm wearing a fur coat. What's cute? I know you're not talking about me. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Name's Bruno. You can't come through the door that way. Anything flies, and he thinks he's got to kill it. I swear he was bird dog in the former life. Only whoever had him back then didn't have a gun, so he just jumped up and got him out of the sky. Hmm. Yeah, this muggy outside makes my facial hair stiff as a board. I think this is the most likes I've got on the stream. 6. Mm-hmm. The cats that we have in the house, they'd probably run from a mouse. Anything that makes a noise behind them spooks them. Oh. Wait till they bring you something and it's still alive. They let go of it and it chases up to your leg or something. We used to have some farm cats that would chase big, like 2, 3 pound rats and bring it to the house. Mine says 1, which means you. I've had a few of those. I mean, I used to rescue cats when I lived with my mom and my stepdad, because we weren't allowed to have dogs because my stepdad was scared of dogs, which made no sense considering my mom met him and he had a dog. So she became the crazy cat lady, and before I left the house, I think she had 11 of them. Of course, one of those was my cat, but I had a Maine Coon. I named him Deuce, short for Duesenberg. I originally got him as a kitten. I rescued him. He was outside in a rainstorm, but he was so small and he couldn't walk across the carpet because his claws were still out. So he'd run. So I called him my little Deuce Coop. Well, eventually he got way bigger. I was like, well, now you're not such a little anymore. You're more like a Duesenberg. So I was like, that works. It's still named Deuce. And a lot of people don't put 2 and 2 together. They go, why would you name your cat that? I said, do you see what my name is online? They're like, yeah, it's Krazy J The Mechanic. You named him that because you're crazy? I said, what's the last word again? Mechanic. What do mechanics usually do? Work on cars? You get the connection now? Oh, okay. Okay. He was either 34 pounds or 43 pounds, one of the two. He was big. He probably outweighed all the other cats by at least 2 cats per deuce. And he was smart. I Like if he was sitting on the back of the couch or something, I'd walk by, I could tap my chest like that, and he would put both of his paws up so I could pet him. Because, like I said, after my first strokes, I wasn't able to just bend over; I'd fall. So I'd have him come to me and tap my chest, and he'd jump up there so I could pet him. Or if he'd be in the living room laying down, I'd be like, "Hey, come on, let's go to the bedroom." And he'd go to my bedroom, and I'd play video games, and he'd lay on the edge of my bed. But any other cat tried to come in that room, and it was his territory, and he knew he was the only one allowed in my room. He would chase the rest of them out. Wouldn't be mean to them, but just chase them out. Ah, but I've had dogs, I've had cats, tarantulas. My first tarantula I caught in the wild because about 30 minutes south of here is a town that I guess their migration path goes right through there. So I was like, one day I was just looking, I was like, holy crap, that's a tarantula. And they were like, yeah, we get them every year. And it was like, you got a cup? What do you need a cup for? I said, like a 34-ounce soft drink cup from a restaurant. I'm like, yeah, I got one in my car. And I dumped it out, and they were like, what are you going to do with that? I said, I'm going to catch him. You ain't going to catch that thing. 5 minutes later, I said, I caught him. What are you going to do with it? I said, take it home. They were like, well, why? I said, because I collect spiders. I like spiders. I like to watch them do their thing and catch their meals and stuff like that. And I'd feed him crickets from the bait shop down the road. And he lived for about 2 years, which is surprising considering in the wild they say they don't live that long. Ah, there. That's cool. I had my choice. I'd have a dog. I don't really want another cat. I had Deuce for almost 22 years. I literally got him and had to wing him for a week and a half because he was so small. Somebody just threw him out in the rain. But one day he just crawled into my mom's closet and passed away. It's like I tell everybody, it's like at least he died from old age and not something dumb. Because it sucks when animal you get an animal and then they just all of a sudden die because they had cancer or leukemia or all kinds of different crap. Yeah, I like it though because I don't hang out with people. I mean, the most conversations you ever hear me is my lives. So I don't have people that come over hang out. I can't go anywhere because I can't drive. Can't walk anywhere because it's a big town, and the closest person to me lives like 2 miles away. I would never be able to walk that, and they don't come to me. So at least wise with him, we can hang out and do things together. And it's like everybody's like, "What? But dogs don't talk." Okay, I had a best friend that we'd spend 4 or 5 hours together playing video games and listening to music and not say a fucking word to each other. He's my best friend. Ah, that I see it as I can get through the day if I have a dog. Because if I feel like I need some interaction, I just interact with my dog. Because no matter what, he's still going to be there. As long as I take care of him the way he needs to be taken care of, he's still going to be there. Cats, they get a wild hair up their butt. They might not want to hang out with you right then and there. So you pick them up and they're freaking out. Yeah. Let's say, well, I should say, I lost my license when I was 20 for 172 and a 25. Finally got the means down here to get it back 6 years ago. And in 2023, I had my stroke. So that was 3 years ago. So half that time, I only got to drive for 3 years. But since then, they were like, if you have strokes down here, they do a thing. I guess it's in Arkansas or everywhere in the United States, but they do a thing if you have a seizure or stroke or something that incapacitates the person, they cut you off from driving for 6 months. So you don't do it while you're behind the wheel. Well, since I've already had strokes and had it again, they've turned it from a 6 month ban to basically telling me I can't drive. I'm like, for how long? There's no time limit. You're not able to drive because you literally had strokes again. And I was like, okay, well, I guess there's that. Doesn't mean I won't try to drive. I just won't drive on long trips and stuff. If I feel like I am a little bit out of it, I'll stay out from behind the wheel. It's like I'm supposed to be responsible, but you guys are making rules. And that's what I thought with adult. You make your own decisions. You don't around here because they'll put a stop to it. Which sucks because I love cars. I like trucks, lowriders, four wheel drive, rally cars, drag cars, Indy cars, supercars, hypercars, motorcycles. I've had, well, I should say, by the time I was 21, I'd done a set down and count on my previous vehicles, and I had over 421 cars. Because my dad owned a car lot, and people would come in with cars and be like, "Hey, do you want a car?" My dad would say, "Nope," and I'd say, "What kind of car is it?" They'd be like, "Well, it's this one over here. It's either that or I'm just going to take it to a crusher and tell them to crush it." I'm like, "What do you want for it?" "Nothing. Just get it out of my hair. It's been sitting in my yard and I don't want it no more." I said, "You got a title to it?" "Sure do." "I'll take it." And my dad was like, "Why would you want that thing?" I said, "It's a fucking free car." He was like, "Yeah, but some cars are just not worth it." And there's an ass for every seat. That's all I care about. I mean, I've seen people buy sketchier cars and try to drive them as dailies. Yeah, I was 6 years old, 7 years old in '86. I started driving when I was 9, but that was basically in the yard and helping my dad move vehicles around, working on them and stuff. He used to pick on me because he thought he'd tell everybody a story, and he's like, he thinks ours for a race because he didn't put a car in park. He put it in reverse and shut it off. Well, when I started it, he was behind it and it was in reverse, and it just automatically started backing up because I couldn't push the pedal all the way down to stop it. So he tells everybody, he says, "R's for race for him." I'm like, no, you forgot to put it in park. Oh. Yeah, I was just saying, when I was 15, my stepdad was like, "Hey, come outside." I walked outside, and he was like, "Get in your mom's car." I went to get in the passenger seat because I thought he was taking me somewhere. He's like, "No, your driver's seat." I was like, "Why?" He said, "I'm going to teach you how to drive." I was like, he's like, "What?" And I said, "I already know how to drive." He goes, "No, you don't." I says, "Why do you think your truck is always empty by the time you get off of the road? And you don't know why." He's, "I figured your mom drove it." I said, "Mom has her car. Why would she drive your truck?" He's, "So you drive my truck?" I said, "Every time you go to work, I go over to Jesse's house, which is like 11 miles from my house. I drive there and drive back. Don't get pulled over, no nothing." He goes, "Prove it." So I took my mom's car through the streets, backing into places, parallel parking. I was like, "Now, do you need to know any more?" He goes, "Who taught you how to drive?" I said, "Nobody." I said, "I just watch what other people do and learn from there." First time I ever drove a clutch car, I watched people do it. I literally worked for a company down here called Cannon Express. It is no more, but I was always told, if you go for a job and they ask you if you know how to do something, even if you don't know how, tell them you do. They asked me if I knew how to drive a truck, like a semi. I was like, yeah, because I was figuring clutch ain't no different than a car. Hmm. Got in the truck the first day that I was there, and he goes, "Drive it around the back," and he says, "Pull the trailer through." Hmm. Did it just fine. They never caught on that I didn't know what I was doing, and I used to drive it clear across town. It was like 7.5 miles down the main drag because we'd have to outsource to a place called Great Dane Trailers if a trailer had lights broken down or something like that. Yeah, sounds about right. But I'd have to drive to the Great Dane trailer just to get a trailer fixed. So all day long, you'd see me driving back and forth. And one of my supervisors was like, "Man," he says, "they see you driving like that, they're gonna take your license away." I looked at him. I said, "What license?" He just laughed, but I was being serious. I was like, "I drive to work and I don't have a license. I lost it for 172 and a 25 when I was 20 years old." I like driving. First time I ever started driving cars, like with car trailers or whatever, loading up cars, my dad goes, he goes, "You want to learn how to back them up and everything?" He says, "So," he said, "you take the 85 Blazer, which was a full size Blazer, short wheelbase, you hook up to the 16-foot ducktail, and don't pull it in drive. Put it in reverse." And he said, "I want you to back through these row of cars." There's like 4 rows of cars that we had stacked for parts cars out in the middle of the field. And I'd just spend all day driving in reverse, trying to go around each one to the point to where I got pretty good at it. And so my dad started loading up scrap cars, and he'd send me 3 hours away to a scrap yard to unload them, which is weird because I've tried to get him to do it now, and he's like, Ice, I can't do all that. I was like, yeah, but I can do a lot more than I did back then. I was 16 years old then. I said, I can do a lot more now. I said, so that unloads some of the labor off of you. I, I said, even if you don't want to strip them down for parts, if you just want to get them, crush them, we can do that. Load them up. But he don't want to do it. I guess it's to do with the whole more than 7 vehicles because Iowa's now got a cap on how many vehicles you're allowed to have per year. It was like, well, what about the people that keep wrecking their cars? Yeah. I know people that had 11 wrecks in 1 year. So you're saying they can't own a vehicle after 7 now? I mean, that keeps them from putting other people in danger, but don't really help them. But Iowa, their design is to keep you off the road. If you're a nuisance or you break some sort of law, they literally dictate and pinpoint every little small detail that you do because they're small towns. So every cop you drive past, they don't have to worry about who's driving that vehicle. I need to run the tag. They're going to be like, oh, he's got a new car. I know who he is. Oh, he must be driving a customer's car because that belongs to this person. I went from North Carolina to Anaheim, California, to Iowa City, Iowa, and then back down here to Springdale, all on one trip. And it was basically, I had a friend in each town, and I was taking different things to them and picking different things up, stuff like that. So I just took my car and drove it all. Never got pulled over, no nothing. I have no idea how far that was, but it took me like 3.5 days, about 4 days. Never been to Canada. Don't have a passport. Never. My family is too poor to even know what a passport was. It wasn't until I was an adult I found out what a passport was. So I've never been to Mexico. I've never been to Canada. Nothing like that. Just the United States. Furthest I ever drove a semi was like 3 hours, and those were all back road country roads, picking up corn and taking it to the granulators and stuff like that. Everybody's like, you should try truck driving. I said, I don't want to. I was like, why? I said, because I'd be under the hood of the damn truck modifying it so it'd go faster. Yeah, you can't do that. You get in trouble. I said, precisely. That's why I don't want to do it. But like Cadillac Escalade, somebody handed me the keys to one of those. I could and told me where they needed it to be. I could drive it, and it wouldn't matter if I knew ahead of time or you told me when I left 10 minutes later. Wouldn't bother me a bit. It's one of those things. gonna finish this cigarette and then we'll go back inside. Hmm. Eh, I wouldn't say it's 90 degrees out. I mean, there's a breeze and it's muggy, but like I told the last person, I'm wearing black. It's pretty much all my t-shirts are black shirts. I'm not sweaty. I mean, I've been so hot that you sweat a bucket of blood or a bucket of sweat in an hour, and I've been out here for an hour. My legs aren't sweaty, my feet aren't sweaty, and I got black socks on, black shoes, and black socks. It's like I don't think I could live in a place to where it was too hot to wear black. I was like, I can't not wear black. Why not? Because I'd be naked. I think I might have two shirts, and one of them is a work shirt, so I don't wear it no more. And one's a Jason shirt, and it's long sleeve and white because it's Jason. I think it was supposed to be a shirt, a costume shirt, because I found it during Halloween, and it's really thin, but I don't wear it. I wear it in the winter when I feel like it, but most of the time I'm wearing stuff like my Jack Skeleton shirt. I have a lot of horrorcore shirts. Jason, Michael Myers, Chucky, Terrifier. I have more Jason shirts than anything because that's my favorite. I used to have one of those, but it bugged the shit out of me that it had pink on it. Where it says "Scream" in the corner of it, it was written in pink. It was hot pink. And I'm like, I don't like that, so I stopped wearing it, and it disappeared. All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming to the chat. I'm done for now, anyway. I might come back on later. I have no clue. But bye.